What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trading Live with Bubba. And not a lot of trade going on. Some interesting action, but painfully slow. And just to remind you that sometimes no trade is better than a trade. But we'll see if we can find something. But you can see the volumes are just dying off here. One of the things you have to remember when you're trying to trade short term is you're really trading off of the emotions of others, and this market's a very non-emotional market right now, just kind of grinding higher, which would suggest that it's retail traders trading it, which means what that means is that 401k money, IRA money is flowing in, which is why the markets typically go up 8.5% year over year. But as far as an emotional market or a little bit of action, we don't have a lot of two-way trade, and that's what we really depend on as traders is two-way trade. So we'll see if we can find something here, but made a little money Tuesday, but didn't get very active, and we're probably not going to be very active today because the markets are not giving us a lot to be active for. So, to trade just to trade is a bad proposition. I think that you make a mistake. Too many people make the mistake that they just feel they have to be involved and want to trade. And I think that you're better off just sometimes sitting it out. Back in the Florida days, we'd be on the golf course already based on this action. So again, there's trades you can put on. Some of the things we'll look at, we will certainly, talk about and potentially put some trades on from a spreading standpoint, but from an active day trading standpoint, I don't see much right now. Okay. And that's something that we have to, again, remember that, there's a difference between day trading and there's a difference between swing trading. And right now there isn't a lot of day trading to do. So why don't we take a look at some of our other stuff that we look at and see if we can find, and I doubt that we'll find anything. And just, again, I would look at Apple if it got up to 215, but it's not there yet. Amazon just kind of sideways, really consolidating. Going through Prime Week, they were down 14% earlier on their sales. Again, I'm not excited about anything right here. Coin popping again. But again, I don't see anything that says to me that I need to be involved. I think it's important, but like I said, there's a lot to be said for having the willpower to not trade. Okay. Crowd probably coming close to a buy. Now, again, this is just from a charting standpoint, not from the conditions we're looking at. It was a sell, which we did talk about the other day, but we didn't take it because it wasn't enough action, and it is coming down. But now you're looking probably, I'd probably look to be a buyer about 490 if I were going to trade it, but I'm not going to. Again, I'm not going to. I'm going to talk to you about things, and that I'll make trades right here with you if I'm going to trade them. Let's just go back here and see if anything's happening so I don't miss out on what we're doing here. I mean, you're getting some heavier volume in the euro currency, but you're not really getting an expansion in price, so I'm not that excited. The volume in the S&P, the Dow and the Russell is pathetic. So it's hard to want to get overly excited to kind of make a trade here. Again, you have to weigh in your mind the probability of, if you're selling it, if them coming back down, and if you're buying them, they're going up. And again, if you look at the chart, there is no suggestion that these blow-offs or these action is going to bring them down. Now, at some point, I'm sure they will, but I'm not here to try to guess. I'm here to get the best, highest amount of probability in my favor. Meta, again, we talked about it. It's a potential sell up here if it gets up, higher from here, but I'm not thrilled or excited. Google in the middle of nowhere. IWM. This would be something you could look at selling if you wanted to. This would be a spread that you may want to look at. And let's take a look and see what it looks like. IWM. And I would look at this. I would look at it for today, potentially. But there's not enough credit, not enough premium for me to want to take the risk. Okay. I'm not selling it for 30 cents. It's just not what I'm going to do. I have no interest in that. So I'd rather just, again, sit it out. Let's see here. Microsoft up there the other day. Nothing for me to do now. MSTR up there. Again, something to think about. Let's take a look at it right now. MSTR, Michael Sierra Tango Romeo. Sell for tomorrow. Really not enough credit for me. Again, the volatility is shriveling up. The markets are not doing much. So I'm not, again, all that excited to do anything. We did talk about buying Nugget the other day or selling put spreads. Again, we didn't do anything. It's just, again, there's things you can think about that you may want to do. And then there's things that you actually are going to do. I don't see the overall edge in this market that I can take advantage of, because you're not getting two-way trade. You're not getting buyers to push it up and sellers to push it back down. Basically, this market is void of sellers right now. It doesn't mean there won't be a news item that'll come out that'll push them down. But at the end of the day, I can only base my decision on what's going on in front of me. And what's going on in front of me is that we're just seeing a basic grind higher. Okay. The NASDAQ sold off hard, has rallied back. The Dow's basically been straight up. The Russell's been straight up. The S&P's been basically straight up. So, and even if you take that to a longer term chart, what are you seeing? Okay. So even though they've been overbought for weeks, there has been no pullback. Now there will be a pullback at some point. I don't know when that'll be. Okay. But I don't have any reason to make a short-term trade here. Okay. There's a difference. I would certainly consider using ratio spreads on a longer term basis. But I don't see any reason on a 4-minute cycle. There's nothing here that says to me that I should be trading that's going to trigger a trade for me right now. Now, again, doesn't mean it won't happen. Okay. We look 4 minutes at a time, but my suspicion is there won't be anything, because again, you're looking at the same market I'm looking at, and there isn't really enough action. In the meantime, the Dow, S&P, and Russell are all near their highs right now of the day. And the NASDAQ is not. NASDAQ seems a little bit under pressure. But once again, we are not interested in gambling here. If we can't get the probability, then we're not going to trade. I think that's something that we have to, again, remember, that you got to be able to say no. And I think this is a market that right now we're looking to say no in. I don't see a lot to do. Certainly, I'd like to sell the SPY, but again, there's not enough premium, okay, to sell a spread for today. And again, I don't see the action going to spit back to me and give us the edge, which is, again, what we're looking at. We are trading now at half of the normal volume we're normally looking for, okay, which just tells you that there's not much participation in this market. And certainly you could get lucky and sell them. You could get lucky and buy them. I mean, again, obviously, based on what they're doing, they're probably a buy. I just can't buy a market that's so overextended and so overbought for myself. So I just sit back and wait. And the bottom line is after we're done here this morning, I'll be done for the day. I'm not even going to look anymore, because there's nothing really to do. Now, obviously, with technology, you're a quote away from looking and potentially making a trade, and you can make trades from anywhere. But from actually actively staring at the machine and staring at the screen, I have no interest, because again, I've done this long enough to know that there's a greater risk and a greater probability that I'll make a bad trade because I'll see something that doesn't exist, versus staying in the course and making the correct trades all the time. And I hope that makes sense to all of you, but that's something to remember. Okay. The more you stare at it, the more things start to look like, oh, this is a trade. And really they're not. And I think that's something that you have to learn as a trader is to be able to sit on the sidelines, observe the market, and not put yourself in a position of risk, because what happens typically to a lot of people is they get stuck, then they fight trying to get their money back, and then they manage to lose $5,000 in a $1,000 range. Okay. Versus saying, I can sit it out on the sidelines. I don't have to trade, because when it does give me the action I'm looking for, I'm going to make a lot more money. So I'm not chasing losses. Okay. Now, this is my second live call of the day. We had no trades this morning, and so far we have not even a sniff of a trade right now. Okay. So again, I don't know that we'll find anything. I don't know that anything will come, but more than likely it'll be a short call, because again, you're looking at what I'm looking at. And if you have any suggestions or any questions, you guys have the opportunity to ask while I'm here. There is a chat feature or whatever, so you can ask anything you want while we're sitting here. But again, we're basically watching, they say, the proverbial paint dry, which is not giving us a lot of opportunity to trade. We need to see that wild swing. There was a good trade, for example. Again, it was only one, and you had to be looking right there in the crude oil. A spike up, spike down, a terrific trade opportunity. But again, you're talking about one. Am I really interested in the one potential trade that I missed? And the answer is no. I'm not going to worry about one trade. I'm never going to worry about one. I need multiple trades. I'd rather hit 70% on 100 trades than 90% on 10 trades. Because that means I'm getting a lot more trades. I'm getting a lot more opportunity. I'm making a lot more money. So again, this is one of the problems that we've been dealing with. Of course, it is summer, so it's not a total surprise, but we were slow coming into the summer. So, now basically everything is waiting for, does the president tweet something? Does something with tariffs drive the market crazy? And then usually it's just a quick blip one way or the other, and then right back to the dull market. And of course, dull markets tend to drift higher, and we have to remember that as well. And at the end of the day, again, I don't see much going on here. So we'll see. We'll continue to watch for a few minutes here, but it really doesn't look like it's very exciting, nor does it look like there's very much to do. And certainly that is, one of the cases that we have to be aware of and watch. And again, right now, I don't see anything. Okay, so we'll see. We'll watch. And like I said, if you have questions, feel free to ask. But I would have no problem building some safer short positions for a longer term. But for the short term here, there's nothing. Okay. No matter what happens, there's not enough emotion or volume to trigger me to do something in this market right now. Okay. And that's something that is always something important for you to understand, is where is your opportunity? And again, can you sit back and watch, okay, without getting yourself too involved, so that you don't put yourself in jeopardy and then end up chasing the market around? And I think that's the most important thing I can teach you right now, is to be patient. And if you're using a different model, it still doesn't matter. You still have to wait patiently for what you're looking for. Okay. You have to be very specific as to what you want to see and what you want to do. Okay. And that will also help you. But for now, again, I just don't see a reason to trade, and hence I'm not going to trade. And hopefully you'll take the good advice. And again, unless you see something specific, then you'll sit back and watch. But overall, I don't see a lot here. So we're gonna call it a short day, because why waste everybody's time? Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here on Tuesday. And remember, every day I do an update before the markets open, about a minute. You can check it out. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.